Hello. Just wanted to give a quick little update. We left off yesterday trying to work on building the GraphQL endpoints with the queries and the mutations, and I was having a little bit of a hard time putting together how I wanted to unit test this and some of the functionality that I was building. So I did end up deciding for the testing, I ended up creating. If you go to the repo, you can see there's a closed pull request that I merged just this morning. You can see what I ended up doing was testing on the schema and having it through the workout. So you'll see here I have this big test that covers a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of setup here. There's a bunch of templates for the mutations, the two mutations that I was supporting. So one for creating template workouts, one for creating a completed workout. And then you'll see down here, there's some tests on querying. And then really the mutation tests are the ones that I really ended up using that were important. And so the big issue that I was having was writing tests and how I wanted to write the tests to get the coverage that I want. So we can actually kind of look at this real quick. So this is the coverage report for my latest one, the merge pull request. And you can see my coverage is 97% now, which is fantastic. I love having it over 90%. That gives me a good feeling that my test is covering and validating the functionality that I'm building. So that's important. But what I was having a hard time with yesterday during the live stream was figuring out how I wanted to test the mutation. Because if we remember, I ended up building a specific domain for the mutation. And I had these little validates for each of the different things that were coming into the mutation. And I was trying to relay it off to the various model domains to handle the validation for me, but I was having an issue with circular imports, and so the issue ended up being like writing a test for this validate completed standard set was giving me issues because of the objects that I needed to import to run the test. So to make it a little easier for myself, what I ended up doing was building a test for the mutations as a whole. Where'd it go? So in this test workout under schema, I am testing the actual workout mutations. And by the top level mutation running, all the validation also runs. The validation on the exercises runs, the validation on the sets runs. And so I'm able to feel comfortable that by running the mutation and testing the mutation as a whole, as a series of components that it's made up of, the whole mutation successfully works the way I expect, then I know the underlying components are also working as I expect. So I did make quite a few changes to some of the code to support, like actually do it the way I thought it was. I was having some issues with, let's look, with some of the validations and how I was writing them. Instead of doing has adder, which I was doing a bunch because of the conditionals, what I found out is that GraphQL mutations, once the mutation itself executes, any fields that were not provided as an input actually become non. They have a value of none, not non. They have a none value. So, for example, if I look at the schema for exercise, we can see intensity notes are and standard and non-standard sets are all not required fields. So once the mutation executes and it hands off the object that came into the mutation to the validators that I have, those values get populated and they're always, those keys are all, or those attributes are always on the object. It's a whether or not it has a value associated with it. So Please, if anybody has some questions or interested in more of some of the code that I ended up making update for, there is this pull request. I will link it in the description so you can check it out directly. But yeah, I just wanted to give a little update on the the progress that I made resolving some of the testing and decisions that I ended up making for the testing patterns. I will be back live next Friday. Thanks.